since you seem to have, discussed quite a bit, I was wondering what is it that I can share with all of you. So I thought I'll just tell you some stories. We'll try and hear some stories. So please uh, bless me that we can share some stories which will help you in your own japa. Or no, you've heard that no matter what, japa is powerful, right? No matter how you chant, whether it is with offenses, without offenses, all of that. But then from Ajamila's story, we hear that even just taking Krishna's names uh, kind of purifies you. It's finished, over. You're safe. So there was this con man as in one who wanted to imitate. Uh, he wanted to imitate Ajamila. So he said, okay, let's reenact these pastimes. He had heard how Ajamila was a sinner and he did whatever he wanted to all his life. And then towards the end, somehow or the other, he called his son's name, who was Narayana. And that's it. He was successful. So he decided to imitate this. And he had two sons himself. So he decided to call the younger son Narayana. The older son, he had some name, some Duruhu or some name he had. And he had told his friends and his family, his brothers, that please remember that at the time of death, somehow if when I'm dying, please bring my younger son near me. So I remember him, I call out his name. Well, life passed, and this man, as he wanted to do all the nonsense that he could, and then he was about to die. And his family members remembered his brother, and he said, "Okay, let me take Narayana near my older brother." So there he was on his deathbed, and the brother brought Narayana uh, in front of this man. As soon as this man saw his son, what did he say? He said, "Hey, younger brother of Duruhu, what are you doing here?" Duruhu, he remembered. Narayana, he did not remember. So the point is that we may want to have a cheat code. Yes, a cheat code, a life hack, but it doesn't work. So let us just contemplate on this verse, which in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Prayana kale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram sa prayati madbhavam yati nastyatra samshaya. A very important verse from the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is telling that it's important to remember him at the time of death. Prayana kale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. As you leave this body. What do you think is the most important verse in this particular, most important word in this particular verse? What do you all think is the most important word in this particular verse? Maybe you can put it up on the chat box. If somebody wants to quickly unmute and say.
Eva, Mataji. Only
Jiva?
me. No, Eva.
Eva. Okay, Sudha Mataji says
Mansa
Eva.
Mataji, Ashamshayaha. There is no doubt.
Asamshaya. And a lot of people in the chat box are also putting up very important words.
Mansa Smarena.
Smarena. Mam smara. Smaran muktva kalevaram. So somebody says prayana kale. Yeah. All of that is important at death, this, that. But of course, the most important word is smaran. Smara. Yes, smara. So Krishna is giving an important instruction that at the time of death, one who remembers me. Yes. So this remembering part is the most important part of our aspect of our sadhana. Yes, Jyoti Mataji, all of them, a lot of people have written on the chat box. Smaran is the most important word. And this is the essence of sadhana, isn't it? This is the essence of all that we are doing in terms of our spiritual practice, whatever it is. Like, uh, so the word smaran means that you are conscious of what you're doing, and you're not doing either, yes, mechanically, or like this man did. It's like a cheat code. He just thought that, oh, I have discovered a life hack. Now, similarly, there was this another man who was a miser. He was a rich man, stinking rich, but a miser, and pretty sinful. And I think wealth and sins, they go quite well together. It's not applicable for devotees, but generally. So this man was pretty sinful and but a big miser. And everybody around him, tried to advise him, do something, at least some charity, do some charity. This man, it would go on deaf ears. Finally, one day he thought, okay, let's just get this done. Let me just do some charity. So he decided he'll donate a lakh of rupees to a Krishna temple. So he says, I'll just do it and nobody will bother me ever more. So he donated 1 lakh rupees and to a Krishna temple, and he was very happy. He said, done. My responsibility is done for life. Now, anybody dare open mouth that I don't do charity, I've done enough. Life passed. This man, miser as he was and sinful as he was, did all that he wanted. And it's time Yamadutas came because all the sins that he had done, and they were ready to take him. And this man also wanted to reenact Jamila's pastimes in a different way. And he said, stop, stop. You seem to have forgotten something. And the Yamadutas were shocked. He says, what is this now after the Jamila? So he said, don't you remember that I have donated a lakh of rupees to a Krishna temple? How can you take me to hell? Who are you all? I mean, I am supposed to be taken by the Vishnu Dutas. What is this? So these people got confused and they said that maybe we are again committing a mistake. We should just go back to Yamaraj and ask. Already we've had one bad experience. So then okay, I'm just putting myself on screen. I'm sorry. So then he says, the Yamadutas go back to Yama and they say, look, what he's saying is saying that he has donated a lakh of rupees. Maybe we're doing a mistake again. So Yamaraj thinks about it for a minute. He says, oh, he has donated a lakh of rupees for Vishnu temple and the rest of his life has been utterly sinful. Says, yes. So he says, okay, give him back his lakh of rupees and send him to hell. So very simple, right? No cheat code. This is not going to help. That we try and manipulate and figure out how can we possibly get out of this, this nice cage that Krishna has created for us. Krishna is telling, no, smaran muktva kalevaram, mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. That's the only thing which is very important. Somehow or the other, you'll have to remember him in all of your spiritual practices so that we can do what he says towards the end of our life. That is actually remember him. Otherwise, like we have heard, so often we've heard Kulashekar Alvar's very beautiful prayers, and how he's saying that, uh, what he says, Kafavata Pittair, Kantavarodhana Smaranam Kutaste, he says. How is it possible that at the time of death, I will be able to remember you? It's impossible. Why? Because, at the time of death, I'll be full with different kinds of problems in my body. Kapha, Vata, Pitta, Kantha, Rodhana, Smaranam, Kutaste. Where am I going to? Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Panjarantam Adyaiva Me Vishatumana Saraja Hamsaha Prana Prayana Samaye Kapha, Vata, Pitta, Kantha, Rodhana, Vidau Smaranam Kutaste. Says, how am I going to remember you? Smaranam Kutaha, Kutahate. It's impossible for me to remember you because at the time of death, my body is going to be filled with all of these things. Kulashekar Alvar, he prays that it'll be choked with phlegm. I won't be able to pronounce anything. And we can actually understand this whenever we have even a little toothache or a small something. Our consciousness is completely there. It's nowhere you're remembering Krishna. It's very hard. So, what to speak at the time of death? This is so difficult. Therefore, the essence of sadhana is to remember or do it very consciously, remember Krishna and do it. And that's very difficult because we have a lot of other things stored in our memory file. So many things are there. It's hard no matter what, how many times we put it into the trash can or the recycle bin, we retrieve it again. Yeah, I think for some reason, Bhutkal or the past tense is called as Bhutkal. In Hindi and English. Past tense is called Bhutkal. Bhut is what? Ghost. It keeps haunting us. Somehow or the other, it keeps haunting us. We have so many things stored in our mind that it's very difficult for us to remember. Ma Manusmara Yudhya Cha, Krishna says also in the same chapter. Please, whatever you do, not just your sadhana, but everything else also, whatever you do it always with me in the background, remembering me in the background. But this becomes difficult because of all the things that we have stored. We know this. Yeah, as soon as we start chanting, all these memory files start coming onto our, into the image of our mind. And for that, what's most important is, faith that chanting is going to loosen the grip of all these memories. Japa is the only thing that is going to loosen it, weaken it. Otherwise, Bhutakal or Bhut is going to haunt us all the time. The Bhut of unwanted impressions or samskaras. That's what samskaras are. The impressions, the strong, deep impressions in our mind. Chanting is the only thing that is going to loosen it. And that faith in Japa is the most important, which is very difficult. So this, when Vibhishana was crowned king of Lanka after Ravana, there's this attendant of Vibhishana who went up to him and he said that, I don't know how this happened. I just can't understand how a bunch of monkeys could cross the ocean just by writing Lord Ram's name on the rocks. How is it even possible? Vibhishana just smiled and he gave this attendant one leaf. He folded this leaf and he said, you just hold it in your hand and go cross the ocean now. Now, this attendant had faith in his king. So he went. He said, okay, let me try what this leaf is going to do now. So he held this leaf in his hand and he started crossing the ocean. He was just walking, he started walking. And he walked and realized that the water just remained knee deep. It just wouldn't rise. Knee deep, the ocean, imagine. And he's just walking, he's crossing it. And he said, oh, my master seems to have given me something really wonderful. I must see what this is, what's there in this leaf. So he opens the leaf, he opened the leaf to see what is there in it. What was there? Vibhishana had written Sri Ram. Now, the moment this attendant looked at that leaf and said, Sri Ram, just this? He just wrote Sri Ram on this? The moment he thought like this, the ocean swallowed him. That was the end. He drowned. Very interesting how our faith can actually help make our sadhana very, very meaningful. Isn't Shraddha the very first step or in the process of bhakti? Shraddha is the most important step. And many times we feel, I'm at the stage of anardhana vritti or almost there to bhava, nishtha, this, that. But it's, at least for me, it's the Shraddha that is the most challenging part. How much faith do we have in chanting Krishna's names? Once in the assembly, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned, in the assembly of devotees, Namacharya Haridas Thakur was there, our Namacharya. And everybody was talking about the holy name, this and that, so many things about the holy name. Some said that yes, it gives you this benediction, gives you that benediction. Some others said, no, it actually uh, rids you of all sinful reactions, all sins. It just rids you of all that. It gives you liberation. All that. Then they turned to Haridas Thakur, Srila Haridas Thakur. Srila Haridas Thakur said, none of these are the real benedictions of chanting Krishna's holy names. And he gives a very beautiful analogy. He says that when it is dawn, yes, early morning, but the sun you cannot see yet. Even before that, even before you can see the sun, when it becomes dawn, all the fear in your heart, fear of thieves or ghosts or any other anxieties, they just seem to dissipate. Have you ever felt that? I think most of us have experienced that. Yes, as soon as it is dawn, we feel fearless. It's not the same when it is 12 in the night or 1 in the night. We don't feel the same. And when the sun rises, you can see things as they are. So Haridas Thakur says, chanting of Krishna's names is like that. Sinful reactions, their dissipating of sinful reactions or other benedictions, they're all like those fears that just get dissipated automatically. Even before the sun has risen, they just dissipate automatically. Similarly, these fears just go automatically. And then when the sun rises, you can see things as they are similarly. When you begin to chant Krishna's names offenselessly, it is the love of Krishna. It is Krishna prema that arises in your heart, and that is the most important benediction. Yes, it isn't that a very beautiful analogy that coming from Chaitanya Charitamrita. I was trying to understand this. But it's so true that even before the sun rises, we feel that calm. And similarly, even before we start chanting Krishna's names very offenselessly or very purely in that stage, a lot of things begin to get dissipated. And that's not the real result. They are like side effects of dawn. Correct? So Srila Prabhupada also, once we all know that Srila Prabhupada was a pharmacist, right? He used to make medicines, and his god brother, Mr. Kapoor, it is mentioned, his god brother, he wanted one medicine, something from Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada had gone to give that, and then there Mr. Kapoor knew that Abhay was not an ordinary devotee, in the sense, not just agrahastha like that. And he said that you have the tonic of Krishna Prem with you. Please give that to me. And Srila Prabhupada said, well, I don't have that tonic, but I have the formula. I found this very interesting. And then he said, oh, give the formula to me. He says, yes, I'll give you the formula. You can make that tonic on your own. So what's the formula? He gave, says, Trinadapi Sunichena, Taroriva Sahishnana, Manina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadaharihi. He said, this is the formula for that tonic. This verse from Shikshashtakam is, you all will agree, is the easiest to memorize. Isn't it? It's the smallest, easiest to memorize, but it's the most difficult to practice. And this, Srila Prabhupada says, is the formula for the tonic of Krishna Prema. And, when you talk about this humility, Trinadapi Sunichena, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that unless we are humble, and so humble, humbler than a blade of grass, or tolerant than a tree. And both of these, very easy to say, the most difficult, like I said, most difficult to practice. From the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we know it's the story of Kolavecha Sridhar. Yes, Kolavecha Sridhar, we've all heard perhaps many times before that he was just an ordinary banana seller. And banana seller, that too in a place, Navadvip, where bananas used to grow everywhere, in everybody's house. But he would just sell banana leaves, banana stem, bananas, all that to make a living. And make a living means what? Whatever money he got, Kolavecha Sridhar, he would spend half of it worshipping Mother Ganga. And the other half he would keep. Now imagine for us, half, we mean, okay, something substantial. But in 1 rupee, 50 paisa is here and 50 paisa is there. It's really nothing, right? And that used to be what Kolavecha Sridhar earned. A very small amount. And in that, half of it he would keep to worship Mother Ganga. And why he would worship Mother Ganga? Because he believed that only through Mother Ganga he would somehow or the other be able to reach the lotus feet of Krishna. So, and that's true, isn't it? So when he would do this, what was most beautiful was at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was little Nimai, and he was still not known as as Krishna himself or even as Nimai Pandit. None of that. He was still a little boy, little beautiful boy who would go every day to buy bananas from Gulavecha Sridhar. And not just go to buy, he would bargain. Just imagine this little boy going and saying that, okay, how much? And then Kulavecha Sridhar would quote some price, which is like, few annas. And invariably, little Nimai would say, you are cheating. You're quoting too high price. And he would bargain with him. And Kulavecha Sridhar says that I am not even having any profit. I'm just selling at the bare minimum. Nimai, you take the bananas or you leave it. Nimai would say, no, definitely you're not going to give me bananas. I am going to take the bananas. But this is all that I'm going to pay. And in his hand, he would give a few shells, not even annas, and run away. Now, Kolavecha Sridhar would pretend as if he was angry and this and that, but he would rejoice in his heart. He would wait for this little boy Nimai to come every single day. Wait for him to bargain. Look at his sweet face and the sweet words that would come from his mouth, the way he would bargain. Kolavecha Sridhar simply hankered for that. It was only much later, when this little Nimai became Mahaprabhu. And he told everybody. He told Sridhar, one day I will show what kind of treasure you have. And then also Sridhar said, treasure and me, I don't have any treasure. You can come to my house. His hut had so many holes, and as many holes on his dhoti also. That's how poor he was. No treasure, he said. But we all know the Mahaprakash Leela, where Mahaprabhu one day he revealed who he was. And he was giving darshan to everybody, and he told his disciples, go bring Sridhar. And this Sridhar, all night he used to chant Krishna's names, all night. And it used to come so naturally to him because he had the formula, Trinada Visamechena. He would just chant Krishna's names so humbly that his neighbors, around him, they would be fed up with his chanting because he would chant loudly, sing loudly all the time, all night. And they would say that, throw him some food, throw this Sridhar some food. He's hungry, he cannot sleep. That is why he keeps blabbering all night. They didn't know that Sridhar was naturally chanting Krishna's names all night. So then, when his disciples, Mahaprabhu's disciples, went to bring him, Sridhar was shocked. He said, me? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to see me? And they take him. And he goes in front of Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu gives him this beautiful darshan. He says, Sridhar, today I'm going to show what treasure you have. And Sridhar is all in awe already. He's gratitude, full of gratitude. Because humility naturally brings gratitude. If there's no humility, there's no gratitude. It's so clear. So then he folds his hands and he says, what have I done to deserve this? So we are the total opposite, We say something bad happens to us, we say, what have I done to deserve this? Right? But Sridhar was saying when something like this happened to him, he was given so much importance and he was given darshan and he was saying, what have I done to deserve this? And Mahaprabhu says, please ask for some benediction, Sridhar. I'm so pleased with you. I'm so pleased with your devotion. I'm so pleased with your humility. And Sridhar says, nothing. I don't want anything. You have given me everything. But Mahaprabhu tempted him with everything. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, maybe a village, maybe a this, maybe a that. Will, none of this wealth was attractive to Sridhar. Kulavecha Sridhar finally says that if you're so eager to give me something, he folded in his hands and begged. He said, please, please let that vision of that little boy Nimai coming to me and bargaining for those bananas be ever manifest in my heart. Let this vision be in my heart. That is the benediction I desire. And that's the treasure that he had. Imagine somebody asking like this to someone who can give anything, which is so difficult for us. But that's what it is. The formula Sridhar had. He had the formula of humility. Therefore, he got the tonic of Krishna Prem within his hand. So I think somehow or the other, if we meditate again and again on these devotees, all of these, including, of course, our Srila Prabhupada, who gave us a peek into these stories, maybe one day we'll also develop that understanding of the holy name. But I would like to ask you just one question before we open it up for comments or something. Is that what offense do you think all of these stories were addressing? Yeah, we know the 10 offenses of the holy name. And there's probably a couple of offenses, but one particular offense that I'm looking at. What is that offense that all of these stories were hinting at? Can someone, either you can put it up on the chat box or unmute yourselves.
Imitating.
Sorry?
Imitating.
Imitating.
Try to
Okay.
imitate.
One of the 10 offenses. Yes. Vrajvilas Prabhuji said something. I missed.
My faith in my Guru, whatever
My-
I've learned from him,
my faith.
to be steady in that.
Very nice. My faith in my Guru. All right. We all know the 10 offenses of the holy name, right? Yes. Keep that in mind. And yes. So, yes, not to commit offense against the Guru. What else? That thing? Inattentive chanting, of course, is the root cause of all offenses. What else? What other? This one offense that I'm very specifically looking for. All of them, of course, will fall somewhere. Don't say the sixth, Prabhuji, please, if you could mention even one word from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji, to give mundane interpretation to the holy name of the Lord.
Very
for
nice.
example, that other person who was crossing the river, the ocean, and he just opened the leaf and just saw, it's just Sri Ram is written. So he didn't have that faith onto that. So I mean, in my opinion, that's the one.
Yes, very nice, nice. That not having your own interpretations, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name. Yes, that's right. I mean, I think you're hinting all of you are hinting at that. To consider the glories of the holy name as exaggeration. Yes, to not have faith, to consider it as an exaggeration, to make our own interpretations. And then, of course, even after doing this, we still don't have faith because we continue to chant inattentively, and that gives rise to more offenses, inattentive chanting. But the most, I think, and yes, all of them are relevant. But then what I was hinting at was to never consider the glories of the holy name as an exaggeration. Yes, from all these stories, like Vibhishana's assistant, he considered it as an exaggeration. Or like some of you said, that not to have faith in our Guru and not to really understand that scriptures are, whatever they are telling, whatever our Guru is talking about the holy name is truth, is the absolute truth and not exaggeration. Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If you have any comments or maybe a question or two, maybe I can take it.
Thank you very much, Machdi. Such a wonderful talk. You always inspire us, through your stories, which is very nice, and we can remember for a long time. We just teach philosophy; it's difficult to remember after some time, but stories we can, hold it in our memory for a long time. Which is
Yeah,
good.
stories stay for a long time. That's right.
And also, I like that point. You mentioned that it's easy to memorize this Trinadapi Sunichana, but it's very difficult to practice. I liked it a lot. Yeah. Practically, there are so many challenges in practicing humility, tolerance. Yeah, it's not so easy. And Krishna tests us every time.
True.
Yeah. Mataji has a question. Mataji, can unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for again inspiring us for the holy name. Mataji, I would like to add something here, if you allow, please.
Yes, please.
Yes, Mataji, our Guru Maharaj always talked about attentive chanting. And when people used to ask him what is attentive chanting actually, then he used to quote this this verse from Sikshashtakam only. Trinadapi Sunichenat. So Maharaj was very much inclined to this verse from this Sikshashtakam. And he also wanted his disciples basically to follow to this and do the attentive chanting. So thank you, Mataji, for again making us realize this verse and making us remember that how we should do the attentive chanting. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much, Radhi Prada Mataji. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki jai. Yes, he always in every class he mentions about attentive chanting. And he had the formula, therefore he was humility personified. Thank you very much for bringing Maharaj into the discussion. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, Rajeshwari Pran Mataji, you can unmute yourself. Ask question.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much.
Hare
Yeah, as usual, it is a very wonderful class. So, my question is on the faith. We have all the time, it is very flickering. It is not the faith which is flickering, as you mentioned, the Shraddha, the determination and enthusiasm to follow. It comes when we hear from the devotees, from the spiritual master, and it goes again, like how our battery charging goes full and then go again. So again charge it, again work. So it looks like no very sine curve all the time going up, down, up, down, up, down. So when we fall down or when we don't have enthusiasm to perform chanting or any of the bhakti principles, so what is that one which inspires you to do so that again you get your energy, spiritual energy back and continue the bhakti process? Maybe you won't get that, but I'll get that. Fall down and take it up.
No, I don't get up and down. I'm down only always. So that is different.
No,
That
no.
is very hard. No. It's not, yeah, of course, all of us go through that up and down thing at, mostly down. But yes, I think, what I heard was something very nice on practicing bhakti means what? Practicing Sharanagati. So practicing bhakti is sometimes becomes very vast and vague. What does it mean? Yeah, we have all these Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all that, but to practice on a regular basis, properly understand what is it, is to practice Sharanagati, and Sharanagati has been given to us in proper six ways, right? So I feel Anukulasya sankalpaha pratikulasya varchanam rakshishyati iti vishwasaha goptrutve varnam tatha atmanikshepa karpanya shatvidha sharanagati. We have these 6 ways of surrender, of which I feel the first 3 or 4 rather, 4, something which are very, very, very doable, practical. Keep doing those things. Everything is Shravanam Kirtanam is that is a part of this only. I'm not saying they're two separate things. But Sharanagati is something which we need to keep practicing. Anukulasya sankalpa. Keep accepting that which is favorable and keep rejecting what is unfavorable. Pratikulasya varjanam. Keep doing this. Because this is what our mind is any which way doing, isn't it? Accept, reject, accept, reject. Just bring it in the context of bhakti and say, okay, what is favorable and what is not favorable. And there they say, Rakshishyati iti vishwasa. Most important part, isn't it? So the faith is what? Faith is this. Rakshishyati iti vishwasa. Krishna will protect. Krishna will protect. That faith, I think, is most important to get that enthusiasm. And that's not possible without devotees. There's no way is possible without devotees. So for me, it's always that I call Rajeshwari Pranmataji when I'm down. Yes, I call devotees and I speak to them and I feel that, okay, they have Sharanagati, they have faith. So maybe through them, I will get a bit of it. So we all know these are the principles of principles of devotion service, principles of keeping us on this path. So somehow or the other, associate yourself and keep giving your association so that we practice Sharanagati.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Very helpful. That I should call you when I'm down. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So there is one question here I can see on the chat box or comment. There's a very nice comment is there. Sudha Mataji is saying, I like the point about having faith, the most basic requirement. I'm tested on a daily basis on this and found wanting. I also like the story from inculcating spirituality in our daily lives. It stays with me. Practice of the principles of bhakti on a daily basis is required so that we can be prepared to remember him in the end. Absolutely, Mataji. Yeah, there's only 2 ways in which we can remember something. One is to repeat, and the other is to invest our emotions in it, isn't it? There are only the 2 ways. One is to keep on repeating something, and we remember that. Or the other way is to invest your energy, your emotions in it. Therefore, when someone says something bad to you, we will never forget that person in our life. Yes. Good we might forget, but somebody says, oh, you were very mean or did something very mean to you. You'll never forget that person. That person is the one who's going to haunt us at the time of death because we have invested so much emotions in it. Right? Therefore, we have to invest those emotions into chanting Krishna's names also and having those kind of samskaras and impressions. Okay.
Yes, Mataji, I will try now this time. I have to put serious effort, Mataji.
Such a nice comment you have made, Sudha Mataji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam. Okay, I think we can stop here, Prabhuji. Rajesh Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam. Always beautiful to listen to your sessions. Dandavat pranam.